I just started the recording. This is part 3 of week 8 mobile app portfolio 2. So we're talking about monetization. So we just finished talking about creating an app landing page or an app store landing page. And now we're going to talk about monetization and different business models that you can take with your apps. Because you're going to start thinking about this as we get our apps on the app stores. How do we want to make money? That's what we're trying to do here, right? So to develop a successful app or startup, we want to figure out how we can monetize our app. The strategy is critical. So we want to come up with something called a mobile app revenue model. Okay, and establishing this model is essential to actually get our startup or our business hitting the ground running if it's implemented properly. So some fundamentals to think about with app monetization. A large base of users alone won't sustain your business for the long term. Okay, so you need new users all the time. A strong app monetization strategy is vital to success. Building a financial model through Excel to test different monetization strategies before you go live can really be beneficial to understand, how to best make money and what you should try to attempt to do for your app to make some money. And note, as you build your user base, analyze the behavior and tweak your app monetization strategy accordingly. So things like a really famous app, Clash of Clans, right? It's a game. I think they started with micro purchases with, you could buy gems and stuff to speed up the development of your village. But they are now on a subscription-based model where you can actually buy weekly or a season's pass sort of thing, almost like a monthly subscription to Netflix. And on a monthly basis, you get these things renewed. So obviously recurring and subscription based is going to be what makes you the most amount of money. And if you think about that, most of the apps we use today are turning to that model because users kind of forget that they're paying for it. It seems like a small fee when it's on a monthly scale compared to a yearly scale. And, you don't get the service otherwise. It's not like it's a one-time payment, own it for life sort of thing. That's what it used to be like 20 years ago. Now it's more like you pay for the month, you get it for the month. And that's how they keep you hooked, and they keep you as a user hooked, and they continually add new features or products. If you think about Netflix, Amazon Prime, if you think about Spotify, all of that stuff you have to pay per month. Your cell phone bill, rent, all of those things are monthly payments that reoccur every single month. Insurance, everything. So Netflix always comes out with new movies. Prime always comes out with new shows, music, shipping products, right? But you only get those services for the month you pay for. So subscription is a very, we'll get into that one in a little bit, but we're going to talk with the first one. Freemium, okay, or free. Freemium apps just sound like the name, and they're available to all users. They're free. In this model, the basic features of the app are free for the users, so the app doesn't lose out on all users, so you still get a large user base. However, to make money out of it, you keep certain premium features locked so that the users who are willing to pay and use it for its full potential get access to all the features, right? So if you think about Prime, everyone can use Amazon for free, but if you want to get Prime shipping, then you pay and you get, that premium experience. The best thing is that your app can create a loyal and huge audience base, yet keep the chance of monetization open. Two main ways to monetize with this method: one-off payments or subscription fees. Right, so you make a one-time payment and you own the full version of the app, or you subscribe and you get the premium version of the app, kind of like Spotify. You can use it for free, but there's ads. You can use it for free, but you can only skip 6 songs at a time, or you pay a monthly fee and then you can use the premium version. A number of ways the freemium model can be used. Okay, so feature-led freemium provides a free version of your app, but limits its functions, allows users to access additional functions at a price. So Minecraft, for example, is currently operating under a model where users can only save the world that they've created on the pro version. Otherwise, you can't save your progress. Capacity limited freemium, so the second option, the user can access your app for free until they've reached their allocated capacity. So this could be something like Google Drive or Dropbox, right? There's a certain number of free uses of a specific amount of storage that users cannot exceed without upgrading at a cost. Companies like Dropbox, Evernote are currently operating under this model. I'm just going to pause my recording a second. One sec, guys. Sorry, we're gonna take a phone call.
Excuse me, sir, you are mute. Sir, you
There
are
we go.
mute.
Am I not muted anymore?
Yes, sir, it's good.
You can hear me? Okay. Okay, I didn't go too far. That's good. All right, so we left off talking about capacity limited freemium, which is a lot of companies like Google Drive, Dropbox, a lot of storage softwares where you can only use 15 gigs before you have to start paying for, a monthly fee to get more gigabytes of room. And then the last option here is limited time offer freemium. So basically you get a free version of the app for a limited amount of time, so 7 days, 30 days. Tons of companies use this. Amazon Prime gives you 30 days for free, and then they'll start automatically charging your credit card. But they get your credit card info up front, and then you forget about it, and then they'll charge you for that first month. And then you might like it so much that you just decide, oh, I'm too lazy to remove my card information. I'll just keep paying the $7 or whatever and use Amazon Prime because I like their video and the music that comes with it. Audible, Spotify, they also use this model where you can use 7 day or a month free of the full version of Spotify, and then you go back to having ads and you realize how much it sucks. And then that's how they encourage their users to use or upgrade to a paid subscription. Cool. The next revenue model for an app is in-app advertising. So these apps use the revenue model. They're usually free to users, but then they divert to the advertisers for the payment instead of the users for the payment. So the agenda is sort of the revenue model accumulates a good amount of users and data on those users, and the data is shared to the app publishers. And then what they do is they use that data to market or to target advertising to the users. So if most of your users are, 40-year-olds and up, and they're mostly males, maybe you would target things that typically 40-year-old males would be interested in. This data, they use those relevant ads and make money. Based on a study, it was said that almost 53% of global app users click on the ads placed in apps. I don't know about you. I hardly ever click on an ad in an app. If I do, it's by accident, usually because they take a little sec to load and then they pop up right where you're going to click the button. But it still makes money when that happens, when you click the app, when you click the ads. So the last, sorry, not the last, but the next one is paid apps. So in the paid app model, users have the right to pay at a point of downloading it. So you don't get access until you pay for it. And then these are more like a product in a market. So you pay the price, you get the product, you own it, done. Pretty simple, just like that. One-time fee. They're not all free to download. There's no free version or anything like that. With such monetization model, the app has to be an outstanding app with top-notch features, top ratings, reviews, so that the users will choose that app over the other free versions. The app must have a caliber to stand out from that pool of apps. So I'm sure you can think of things where it's like a one-time payment and you get that app. Usually it's games, right? You pay for that game. One-time fee, 99 cents or something, and then like Angry Birds or something like that. I think they're free now, but back in the day, those games you'd pay for and then you'd own them, and then you'd be done. And another one is subscription apps. So these apps focus on a free trial and then the pay later kind of model. So first they give the users a free trial of the app, which hooks the users in and gets them, addicted to using that service. A lot of popular examples are Netflix, Prime, Hotstar, and then they ask for a monthly payment after the user likes the service. Or you can get a lower fee if you pay for a yearly commitment, right? So then you commit for a whole year and then they get a larger sum of money. But usually it's a little bit less than if you were to pay each month on top of each month. Such apps are great for recurring revenue generation. But since the content of the apps is going to be used on a monthly basis, you want to keep it always up to date. That's why you're always seeing new stuff on Netflix and Prime because they want to keep the users hooked. If they don't have new stuff and you've watched all the movies or you feel like there's nothing new anymore, you're going to stop paying for it and they're going to lose a lot of users. So you always have to keep your users satisfied with the subscription-based model. Sponsorship apps is another type. This is kind of a fresh concept in app monetization. And here, the advertisers actually give the uh, rewards or awards for using the app and making them use it in the app to earn more. So the users are happy and they're satisfied because they're actually benefiting from the app, and then they gradually start to invest more and more time into the app. Right, so there's things like Google rewards where you can answer questions about things and you actually kind of make money as a user, and then you use the app more and more that way. In-app purchasing. So this is something that's a little bit different. It's not necessarily a type of payment or revenue model for an app, but you can make money off of an app doing in-app purchasing. So it refers to the buyings of goods and services from inside an app on a mobile device. And it allows the developers to provide their app for free, but then inside the app, if you want extra features, then you can then advertise to upgrade to those paid features or unlock special items on sale or whatever you want. So like Clash of Clans, you can in-app purchase more gems or whatever to speed up the speed of whatever your production is that you're building. If you're upgrading your town hall or something like that, right? This way, you can still give the app away for free, but you can also make profit as a developer. Game applications are typically in-app purchasing, right? So pay to win is a really big problem with games, but a lot of games they have skins and stuff now where you can pay inside the game, where you can get skins for your guns or your characters, or you can skip a particularly difficult level with whatever they use to skip the levels, and you can earn those over time for free, but you can also purchase them if you don't want to wait that amount of time to skip that level. And sometimes premium content is hidden behind a paywall, and then you have to pay for it to actually get it. They hope to make enough money from all these microtransactions and then the advertising revenue to cover the cost of creating and maintaining that app. The most common type of in-app purchases is to pay for ad-free removal or ad-free versions of the app. Application stores such as Google Play or iTunes allow users to download applications with in-app purchasing, but they typically let the user know the app has this feature. So some policies allow refunds if they're requested within a certain time frame after the purchase, and the App Store actually will often take a percentage of the in-app purchase sale. So it's just something to keep an eye on. On Google Play and iTunes, I think they take 30% of every purchase. So you have to, weigh that cost with how you're trying to make money. A couple criticisms for in-app purchasing. So because it's conducted through a mobile device, unauthorized purchases can be a real security issue. Sometimes the username and password used in the app or not strong enough credit card information is stored, and then many applications get an email after their receipt's made asking if they can be refunded because it was a fraudulent purchase, or it's a kid with their mom's credit card, and they just borrowed the phone and you've heard the stories of like kids that have taken their parents' phones and then spent like thousands of dollars upgrading whatever in a game, and then the parents are like, hold on a second, I don't want to pay for that. There's no guidelines for this. Regulators have tried to try to regulate some of this stuff so that children who have access to smartphones aren't just spending their parents' credit cards like crazy. But obviously, sometimes parents don't notice all the time and quick enough for that to be refunded. Um, Sometimes it can be a real problem because advertising is designed in a way to take advantage of those kids and target them for profit, and it can be really frowned upon. So it is starting to get governed more and more, but something just to be careful of, and a little criticism with in-app purchasing. So some key takeaways. It refers to the buying of goods from inside an app, such as a smartphone or tablet. It allows developers to provide their app for free, but you buy stuff from within the app. And because they're conducted through a mobile device, unauthorized purchases can result in security issues. Um, we'll talk about this another time when we actually set it up, but here's a little slide about actually setting up digital purchases with Google Play. And you'll need a Google Wallet merchant account in the Google Play console. So you just link it to your Play console account and then integrate the in-app billing API. So you make sure it's available for free, and then you can offer subscriptions. So we'll talk about that more in the future, but cool. And then got this one. So another thing that you can do to really help set yourself aside is define all the features of your app. Once you understand who your competitors are and defining what your features are, um, you can set up categories and separate yourself from your competition and then make something called a competitive matrix, which will actually help you figure out what it is that you want to monetize. Because how do you decide what it is that you want to make users pay for and what it is that they'll want to pay for? You have to figure out what it is that your app offers and that what makes you different. So here we've got an app called Memory Jog, a password manager. Excuse me. And we list all the features of it here. Automatic cloud backup, the ability to restore deleted entry from the recycle bin, offering a free web edition if they purchase the iPhone edition, competitive advantages, localized language, friendly password generator, all of that stuff. And then you come over here and you try to make something called what we call a competitive matrix. So here you list all your features, storing passwords and other items, autofilling passwords for websites, password generator, password encryption, allowing sharing of records, easy cloud backup, all of those kind of, features that you'd think of when you think of a password generator or password manager app. And then here you list your competition, competition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You make a matrix out of it, and then you tick all of the ones that the competition actually does. And you can see who your biggest competition is here. And obviously we can see competition 1 ticks almost all of the boxes except for the recycle bin. None of them have a recycle bin, right? We can very easily see that. So then what we can do is make the recycle bin a premium feature because that's something that people would be willing to pay for because it's what makes us different. We can also see that a lot of companies don't have the language support or sharing of records with others, or autofilling passwords for websites. So we can see that those features are probably the most needed or most competitive features. All of these other ones that are all ticked, like password generator or 256-bit encryption, as we can see that every company and every competition does that, then we can realize, that's sort of something that people would expect with each app, and that's not something we would make them get, charged for to get in addition because it's something that they expect to come with the base version. A premium version comes with added on features on top of the necessary stuff, right? So all of these ones that are all checked would be the necessary stuff that we'd include in the freemium model, and then the stuff that's not checked we can charge for. Cool. All right, so those are the PowerPoints I wanted to cover today. We're going to do our sprint planning meetings for Sprint 2. So out of the people that are here, if you want to get into your groups, we're going to do our sprint planning meetings. And then what we're going to do is I'll kind of check in with each of you guys. We're going to start another 2-week sprint. This is Sprint 2 of Semester 2. So this sprint will go until the 19th. So we're starting today. We're going to, write all of our tasks in Trello, assign them to our team members. We're going to have a sprint planning meeting. We're going to document notes, and we're going to, keep developing and designing the app that we've been working on over the last semester and a bit. So I'll make the breakout rooms now, and then I'll kind of jump around and check in with each team. But is there any questions before we move on and do any of that?